The Alpha Sessions.
Hello and welcome to the Alpha Sessions. This week we have the return of the fabulous Lucy Wroe.
Return of the King.
Yep. And I am guest introducing today. My name's Emily. Welcome, Lucy.
Welcome.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm good. I feel weird.
Why do you feel weird?
Because I'm on the wrong side. Everything's backward. It's like I'm in a parallel universe.
Okay. Well, the last time we did talk to each other, we were backwards. We were the other way around. I was sat over there and you were sat over here. And I feel like both of us are slightly more comfortable maybe the other way around.
Yeah. I need to get back in the groove. This is the first interview I've done in a long time.
But you have done quite a few interviews with the Alpha Sessions before.
Yeah, and we were just talking about this. Like, I don't remember anything. I've got a bad memory.
Yeah, me
famously.
too.
But yeah, for the Alpha Sessions, I thought I'd done maybe 2, 3. But I think it's also because I've been in here a lot. So it feels like I've been doing a lot of other stuff with them. And then when I look back on all my sessions with them, it's like, the one in lockdown, that's not me. I look at that, that's not me. I look so weird. I sound so weird. And I have no memory of... Yeah, no memory. But yeah, technically this is my 4th.
Wow.
Maybe 3rd in the studio.
You're an old pro. You have absolutely nothing to worry about. So you have, very excitingly, let's just get straight to it, a new single coming out.
It feels like my first release in a long time, because the last EP was in March. Yeah, March 2022. So we're getting on to a year since the last thing I did. And I'm trying to ramp it up. I'm trying to get out lots of little things throughout the year this year, instead of just doing one thing and then waiting a year. But I get so distracted, and I write a lot, but not stuff that I think like, okay, let's do it, let's make a release campaign. So yeah, Better is the name of this single coming up. And I wrote this with Tom Berry nearly a year ago. I think we started it at the end of April last year. He came to me with this track, this instrumental, and just basically said, I want you to write on this. He had a vision. He was like, I can hear it, it's going to go great. So it's been in the works a long time. There's been a lot of versions. You know when you have like a folder of tracks and there's like version 1, version 2, version 3. I don't know if you work that way.
No, we work... I'm so interested in this. We work so differently.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I think it's Tom actually that's rubbed off on me, but there's always a folder with the original title, which makes it really hard to find as well, because the title of this one is called Loungin' WS, and I don't know why that is.
That's Tom, the title of the folder?
Of the title of Better, the original version. So he just called it Loungin', because like the backing track was like just slick and cool. And then gradually when I wrote on top of it, I came up with the title because I had the lyrics, and then it turned into Better. So there's like a chunk of Loungin' version 1, 2, 3, 4 through to 17, and then there's Better through to I don't know how many versions. So yeah, it's been in the works a long time, which is why I'm nervous, because I've been sitting on it for so long that now that it's coming out, I feel like it's going to be either like life-changing or, you know, make me feel like a different person, a new person, and ready to go, or it's going to make me feel like that was terrible.
It has to be one or the other, very extreme, life-changing or terrible.
I am quite extreme. I think I don't see how extreme I am, and then I start talking about stuff like this and I think, why does it have to be that way? I need to chill out.
You need to, no, you're fine. I mean, it's a big deal. I mean, I understand. Yeah. I don't think that a year is even that long, but maybe that's because I'm really slow. But you released, let's think for a second. So you released an EP in March last year.
Yeah.
So that was 4 tracks.
Yeah, and then one of them was the single. So there was like a single a couple weeks before, and then the other 3 came out basically.
So, okay, so I see what you mean. So then there was just like this big...
Yeah.
A gap.
Yeah.
So the plan for this year is it more to release singles, or is it the same thing?
Yeah, because it's been a lot of work just for this one song, but I'm really enjoying writing a lot and then actually selecting one and being like, I'm going to work on this. And actually, because I used to be very extreme. I used to write something and be like, I don't like this, and just throw it out and then start a new thing. And I just have a terrible case of half songs. There's a lot of just like verses or choruses or verses, pre-choruses, and then they stop and then I move on. So I'm trying to force myself into a little routine of picking a song, finishing it, completely producing it, and then I actually am more inclined, now that I'm doing this, to think, hey, this needs to come out. I need to release this. So I've got about 3 in the bag, on the back foot, that I'm hopefully going to release.
That's exciting.
Year. Just to keep the ball rolling.
So it's a lot of work, because when you say producing, do you mean, is that producing it with your partner, Tom?
Yeah. So he tends to do a lot of instrumentals or like little songs, which he actually released last year. And then he comes to me, or I pick one out and go like, I just feel inspired by that, and then sit for an evening and end up writing a whole song over this little loop that he made. But recently I've been doing more on my own, but inspired by that. So I'll make little sections and then go back to them and think, right, I'm going to expand on this. So my production's getting a lot better. I was quite dependent on him and I still am, he's my producer, but I'm quite dependent on his musicality. Like, he writes such nice guitar lines and details. He's really good at detail. So I'm trying to get better at doing detail by myself, because I think it's an underrated thing that you can write a good top line, you can write a good harmony and good chords, but then when you come to record it, it's all about the little elements that you like bring into it. So
100%.
That's what I mean by production.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by all this because it's all stuff that I'm really interested in, and I'm a bit jealous of, because I'm just, it's not like when I write songs, and this is probably how you used to write, I'm imagining, when you're talking about like before.
Yeah.
Because you said your process has kind of changed. I think I was listening to you talking about this in your last alpha session that you did with Emma, and you were saying that you used to kind of write on your own, and then when you started co-writing with other people, and I'm guessing co-writing with your partner, kind of, and then having that band influence of having all the different musicians around you and the production, it kind of changes how you do everything. So I write all my stuff pretty much on my own, and I totally get what you mean. Like, once you start getting other instruments involved, and it's so exciting.
Everything. Yeah, but also that inspires the way you write anyway. So you'll go home after like just jamming with somebody or doing a gig with your full band or something, or somebody will show you their song that they've produced and you're like, wow. And then just hearing other people's stuff is so inspiring for me. And I used to be really closed off. I don't know where I got it from, but I used to be very much like focused on, this is the way I write. I sit down with my guitar and that's just how I do it, and I can't talk to anyone, close the door, don't want to hear anyone about the place. And I was very private, but I think that kind of got in the way of a lot of things. I got very insular, and it made me more nervous. Found it harder to just express my actual personality.
Tell me about how you, because I don't actually know this, tell me about how you got into music. You studied, didn't you?
Yeah, it's kind of, again, this is one of those things where I used to lie to myself and be like, I always sang. Everyone's just like, oh, I was singing from the day I was born. But I mean, I used to do a lot of karaoke. Now, the real story is probably quite more embarrassing, but I'm ready now. I feel ready to get this embarrassing story out there.
Oh my God, I'm excited.
You're going to be like, that's not embarrassing. I used to do this. But I think one of my earliest proper memories of being like, this is it, I love this, makes me feel so much passion, is in the playground with 4 other girls that I used to be very close with. We formed a Girls Aloud tribute. I say tribute, we were the real thing, okay? Like, this was serious. And I was Kimberly Walsh, which, I'm quite proud of. I quite like being Kimberly Walsh. But I don't really know what we did with that. We just pretended we were them, and then started writing songs. And then I became a little, I don't know where this is. One day it's going to come up and it's going to haunt me forever. But I have a folder of songs that are like my first ever songs. I always remember one called Clown.
Go on, sing it. Go on,
I don't know how it goes, is the thing. I know
you do.
That it was about a clown chasing me down a corridor in like a fun house. I don't know. And when I read all these lyrics, I find really mature themes that I read and I'm like, that's dark.
What age are we talking?
Anywhere between 8 and 10 it must have been, because I wasn't in the junior side, I was in the more senior side, but I was still at primary school, so yeah, I must have been like,
crikey.
Yeah, so I was writing about all these things, and then I got obsessed with Girls Aloud. I had posters everywhere, listening to them all the time, and I was just a big fan. And I mean, because I grew up through the noughties pop is my favourite, 2000s pop, all of it, because it's so diverse. I think that really, really inspired me. And I always used to say like the 70s and the 80s, which I love now, and folk as well. That was always my inspiration. But actually, when I think about it, that only started later, in sort of like mid to late teens, when I actually got invested in music and I started studying and understanding it more and playing it more. But my roots are Girls Aloud and like specific noise pop songs. Gwen Stefani, Lady Gaga, I love it. I like Britney Spears. There's some classics. So it's in there. And that is my first musical memory, is writing this pack. I've got a wad of songs from Playground that if I read them now, I'd probably cry and burn them.
Wow.
But it's good to have.
Because I had a similar, again, I think you saw me make the face. I had a similar thing in school, but I think mine was less serious, less dark, like the clown chasing you. But me and my friends used to make up songs. We called it the singing dancing game. I feel like I don't know why I feel like I've said this to you. I don't think we did talk about this last time, but yeah, we used to have the singing dancing game where basically in the break you had to pair off and write a song and create a dance routine. Then there was a competition.
Nice.
One judge who used to be, like, there was this one friend who didn't really like doing it, so she was always the judge. And then, like, that was all kind of done in this one break, and then the next day we'd do, like, a new song. It's quite quick songwriting. But these were songs like, I remember one, this is not mine, this is one of my friends, that went, aubergines and tomatoes, aubergines and tomatoes. Anyway,
I wish I had
slightly
memories
less
like this.
serious.
That's brilliant. It's genius.
So you were very proper from a very early age. So you got into songwriting between sort of 8 and 10. That's young.
Yeah, I played the cello. My first instrument was cello when I was, I think, 9, just about to turn 10. So that's when I actually picked up properly playing music, when I started the cello, and I got into like reading music and theory and everything. So it's a mixture of all that. It's like I remember having karaoke machines. I remember all my cousins I've been close with all my life. We used to make bands, a different band every week. We'd like make a little album cover, put it into an old CD case, be like, yeah, that's our CD. You watch out, we're coming. One of them was called something like Crazy Chicks. Something like Crazy Chick. I don't know what that was. There's a lot of bands. And with my cousins we used to write as well. There's one called like Toxic. I know, influenced, yeah. And we like spelled out the word toxic because there were 5 of us and we did the letters.
Did you ever harmonise together? Because you've got that, if you've got family members, often the voices all sound really nice together. Yeah. Did you ever do that?
Not until later in life. So we made, I've never talked about this before, but we made music videos when I was probably 14, 15, and we filmed them properly. We planned them all out. We recorded them on my my iPod.
On your
iPod Touch. It's like the first one that had the touch screen, and it was all it just had internet and played music. But we recorded them on there, and then we thought these were like the best thing. We did Ronan Keating, When You Say Nothing at All, and then we did Ronan Keating, Life is a Roller Coaster. And then we did Ronan Keating. I don't know where the Ronan Keating came from.
Strictly Ronan Keating.
Yeah. And so we did all these music videos, and at that point I was already in it, and I was already studying it at school, and I was focused on it. So it goes right back. But yeah, definitely writing early. I don't know if you can call it writing, but it all counts, right?
Oh, yours definitely. Mine, aubergines and tomatoes, I'm not sure counts as much, but hey,
it counts. Everything counts. Hold your own. I open my door to welcome home, but I don't mind. Or you share the load of what's on your mind, but don't think you're holding me back. How can you possibly lose if you don't go and get it? How can you possibly choose that? But you can't hide if you want to, hide if you like, oh, hide if you want to, hide if you like, oh, hide if you want to, hide if you like, oh, hide if you want to, hide if you like, oh, break the mold. But get to sleep in my overload. Well, it comes stealing in. Never better, never moving forward, but he's coming home to you. Will you wait another hour for her when all you're waiting for is you? I'll try to fix you with news of a summer evening to warm your broken and bruised hand. But you can't hide if you want to, hide if you like. Oh, hide if you want to. Hide if you like. Oh, hide if you want to. Hide if you like. Oh, hide if you want to. Hide if you like. Oh, when I think about the way you have loved me, and I always knew that you were deserving all. When I think about the way you have loved me, and I always knew that you were deserving. Oh, hide if you want to. Hide if you like. Oh, hide if you want to. If you like. Oh, hide if you want to. Hide if you like. Oh, hide if you want to. If you like. Oh.
The Alpha Sessions.
Does a song always have its kind of way that it should be, or do you think that can be messed around with completely, like, depending on how you produce it? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah,
Because I don't know the answer to this, and I wondered what you thought.
That's something, again, that I've changed a lot on. Just in the past year and a half-ish, I'd be very rigid with everything. So I'd write something, and I think like, the song is how it is. And I used to push people away and say, like, what are you doing to it? I don't want to change it. That's just when it comes out. That's how it comes out. That's how it's meant to be. It's au natural. But now I play with things a lot more better. Interestingly enough, when I did the top line for this, when Tom came to me with the instrumental, I wrote it 3 times. I just bought a new songbook, a little notebook thing, and on the first page is like, I opened it out so I could go left and right, and there are 4 sections. There's one with like a big line through it. There's arrows everywhere, and I never write like that ever. I'm always very straightforward. It comes out. It's just how it is. But with this one, there were so many like confusing ideas that were coming out, and they just weren't quite right. And Tom kept pushing me and being like, I think we need to get rid of that. Just scrap it. Start it again. And I remember I was back in my mum's house in the country, looking after my dog. It was a nice time as the sun was out, spring, and I just didn't feel like it. And he'd set all his stuff up, and he was really trying to push it because he was in the mood. He was like, I want to get this song done. I can hear it. And I was just like, I don't know. So it was very lackluster, but I did it anyway just to give him something. And it turned out that the chorus I'd written became the pre-chorus, and then the new chorus I stepped up to make it bigger because that's what was lacking. And then when we revised it after that, the pre-chorus was the best bit, but the verses were like, what is this? What is this? And that's not a verse, doesn't count. So scrapped all the verses. So I've changed a lot in terms of my writing, and I think that all comes from the way production has changed it. And I'm just trying to be freer. I'm just trying to be like, try everything.
And so you don't, because I think I tend to think if it's not working, oh, this isn't going to work. But this song is a perfect example of something that wasn't necessarily working straight away, but then you kind of worked on it, you moved things about, you like redid bits, and then it ended up being your new single.
Yeah.
It's coming out on Friday.
Yeah.
So that kind of goes against everything I believe in, Lucy. You've completely like blown my mind.
Blown your mind. That's what I aim to do every day, blow somebody's mind.
So just tell me a little bit, because I am interested in this, working with your partner. When did you guys start working together? Did you know each other before? Like, how does it, what happened?
We met in May 2019.
Okay.
He was working as an engineer at a music festival, and I was the venue manager, volunteering.
Oh, wow,
so
okay.
It was really cool. We were in like a music environment. And then I found out he was a producer. We started going out casually and just being friends, and then just sort of listening to each other's stuff and what we did. And I used to send him all my stuff, and probably now if I listen to what I sent him, like, this is the best song ever. Have this. It's probably really bad. And then my first ever single that came out in January 2020, There Is an Ocean, he recorded that in a little studio where he works, and it was just me in a tiny little booth playing my guitar. And yeah, so he's sort of the beginning. When we did that, we realised that we kind of understood each other in that way, I think. And it just worked out. I think we were attracted to that kind of work ethic.
So the music was always a part of like your relationship,
absolutely.
Basically.
Absolutely. And then from that first single, because I'd been writing between May of the 2019, January 2020, we were just seeing each other, and I was still studying, so I was writing a lot. I was at uni, and I would spend hours in practice rooms just on the piano, but it was very theatrical. It wasn't really anything that we were going to put out, but it was still like kept the ball rolling, and it gave him ideas, and it gave me more ideas, and we started recording together. And yeah, after that first single came out in 2020, that was it. Like from that point onwards, obviously lockdown happened.
Yep.
And we were together in lockdown. We got stuck together, and that wasn't the plan. It worked out, didn't it? But that's when my first EP came out, because we did the whole thing because we were bored. So yeah, I think it's a combination of being forced together by living in a lockdown and doing all the recording, and just understanding we just work in a very similar way.
Yeah.
At least now we do.
So it just worked out very well.
Yeah. And obviously there are awkward times. There are times when I'm in the mood for writing, and he's just not in the same space, and it's like, but I want to do this thing, can't you play the guitar?
And you don't feel like now that you can go back to just doing it all by yourself, because it's just you're used to having that input from him. I did get very dependent, definitely, and not in like a I'm incapable way, just because I enjoyed it. I really liked the way that we worked, and we were just escalating everything at the same time, and it was getting bigger and better all the time, so I really enjoyed it. But everybody's got other stuff to do, and that's important. I have to let everyone do what they want to do with their lives. So I'm trying now with this single. I've done all of the promo by myself. I did all the photography with people that I've found, and yeah, I'm trying to get back onto my own track, so that I feel like I can work more on my own. So I'm learning from what I've done with Tom, and taking it into my own little world, seeing what happens, but also trying to find other people to work with, because I never write with other people, and it's worked out well with Tom, but it's good to have other influences. So I'm getting out there a little bit. Yeah. So talk me through like how you are getting on with all that promo stuff, and because I know we both just joined TikTok like really similar time. TikTok. So how are you with all of that stuff, and have you kind of had a learning curve from your previous releases? Like, did all the stuff last year teach you anything about how to release stuff differently this year? Like, talk me through all that, because again, I don't know anything either, but we're all making it up, aren't we? Yeah, exactly. Fake it till you make it. How do you do it, Lucy? Yeah. Well, last year I worked with a PR company, a very small one. Oh, okay. It's very expensive, and at the time it worked out, and it was good because they get you into places that you wouldn't be able to access, like magazines that only need referrals rather than just like, hello, I'm a musician from London. But it also, because now I've got those connections through the PR last year, this year I know who to contact, and so I'm kind of using that as a springboard. And it has been long. Like, I sit for 6 hours at a time, 7 hours at a time, just on my laptop, just like going crazy with my glasses on, and I take my glasses off and I'm like, where am I? When it's dark, and I'm a bit of a hermit, but I have like a full day where I've got nothing else to do, so I sit and I've just been emailing. I've got the unsigned guide. Do you know about that? Like the directory? Me too, but I'm not good enough at using it yet. Well, I got it 2 years ago and I just didn't use it properly, and then I unsubscribed because I was like, I'm just wasting money on it. But this year I was like, hey, I know that I want this now, and I feel motivated now, and I had a real drive for it. So I spent hours surfing through all the radio contacts, all the magazine contacts, finding the email, looking at the website, seeing if I made a good fit, and then writing an email. I made a press release, but you know, working here has been amazing as well. This is probably one of the most valuable experiences as an interviewer and working with Alpha Sessions, because I get the press releases through and I meet loads of artists and I see what they're doing and I see what their PR companies are sending out. And so I looked at everyone's format and thought, I like this one, I like this part of this one, and I just made my own with all the elements that I liked. So gradually, it's all about experiences, isn't it? Like just getting involved with stuff and being able to apply that to then what I'm doing. So it's definitely going better, but it's a lot of work. I think it sounds like you're going to have a very exciting year. I feel that now. Yeah. Because I'm quite, again, radical with my mind, my thinking. I am terrified that this is a peak and I'm having a good moment, and then I'm going to, in the middle of the year, I'm just going to drop back down to a low point and do nothing at all. Because that's kind of what happened last year. I don't know what happened to me, but I mean, everyone goes through ups and downs. But when the EP came out in March, I was on a high and all the PR was going on and everyone really loved it. I did a music video for your favourite, Close at Home. And I just, I was riding that high. And then in the summer, everything kind of died down and I didn't push back. I just let it settle, and I thought I'd have a little break.
and I never recovered. The whole of the end of that year, I just got lower and lower and lower. And I haven't even told many people this, but like November through to January, through to now actually, I probably was the lowest I've been ever.
I think when we met, your vibe now, so we did the interview with the other way around with me, was it in November? I think it was
Something
November,
like that,
October or
maybe
November.
October.
And when we met, that was the phase you were in, and we were kind of talking about that because I think we were both in a bit of a, in betweeny, slightly low, like. But do you not think that that's probably something we're just going to have to deal with? It's the natural process of, especially if you're a creative person, like it kind of goes in
waves,
doesn't it? And I think it's normal.
The more you develop, the bigger the waves get, it makes me nervous, but it means the highs will be even higher. So at the moment, I'm riding an even higher than I was this time last year, because it's just progressing naturally, which is good. And I'm trying to take that and be like, this is a positive thing. So if it goes back down, you might feel lower than before, but you know that the next high is going to be even higher. And then eventually I'll just be able to learn to balance it out, and it won't be so up and down.
Yeah.
But also, like, being independent, it's going to be like huge ups and downs because you're just completely on your own. And I think that's something I suffered with a lot. It's just like feeling alone all the time.
Oh my God, I just relate to you so much, Lucy. I literally get what you're saying completely. It's so lonely and so difficult.
Yeah.
And you know that there's a gazillion other people trying to do it too, but we're all doing it on our own, alone, but all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
We should talk about it more, because then we won't feel as
exactly
rubbish.
know, right? And it's the weird thing, like I meet so many people doing this or going to gigs and stuff like that, and networking in general, and everybody has the same feeling, but nobody talks about it, because you're just like, hey, what are you doing at the moment? Oh yeah, plug, and you're like, oh yeah,
of course. We want to put our best face forward. That's not a saying, but it's a mix of two that I've smushed together.
It works.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the new saying.
Put our best face forward, but of course it's not meant to be easy. But yeah, it sounds like you've got some exciting stuff happening.
Yeah, and you mentioned TikTok. I mean,
we didn't even let's go back to that.
Social media was something I've always hated.
Okay.
I wouldn't say loathe. I wouldn't say despise. I dislike. Majorly dislike, because it can be really good, but it's just, there's a lot of negative stuff, and it clouds my mind so much. Like I don't know. I've never enjoyed having to post, and I'm always very present. Like earlier when we were in here and you were filming me in the other room, and I was like, oh yeah, I need to tell people that I'm here. Nobody knows that I'm doing this. And I think I don't even think about it. I don't think, oh, I need to let my audience know what I'm doing because they're interested. And I think that's like a self-worth issue. I don't want to get too dark, but like, because I used to think nobody actually cares. If I put on my Instagram, oh, I'm in the station today, nobody's going to look at that and be like, wow. So nobody cares. But actually, people love it. Like, people just, because I do. I had to think like the other way around. When I'm scrolling through, I'm like, oh, wow, that looks interesting. Oh, and then I message somebody, I reply to things. And people engage in the same way. But you got that imposter syndrome where you're like, it's not the same when it's me. Nobody actually cares about me. I just care about them, what they're doing because it's interesting. But what I'm doing isn't interesting. But actually, some people find it interesting.
It's because you're a woman. We're just so hard on ourselves. Sorry to bring it back to that, but it's true.
Well, that's something I always like to talk about as well.
I think we question ourselves more than men do. But also, I think there's a positive thing in not constantly thinking about self-promotion, and like when you were in here prepping and then performing, you were focused on playing singing your songs, which is, I think, still hopefully the most important bit. So there is a plus side to that.
I think that's why I hate it so much, is because it makes me feel like nobody cares about what the actual thing is, what the actual product is, or what you're doing, or your passion. It becomes more about like your artistry as a whole, or your business. It's like a business rather than, and I know that's important. Like, I'm starting to learn that. I was pushing against it, and now I'm letting it in a little bit, but I'm trying to balance it. But I've always liked to just perform and just play and just write, and I'm very private because it was for me. It was more like therapy, and it was more like just an enjoyment of mine. I don't wanna see you go. Don't wanna find you all over again. I can see that final blow. I don't want this to be the end. No, it won't, no, it won't, no, it won't, no. Make a mistake talking out loud, just so you come to my side, to make you realize, closer to home than we know how to be, over the moonlight and the sea. Is there room for you and me? I'll try to find where there's a way to stop the heartache, the decay of time. But time blows away. I don't wanna see the world without your smile around me, your open arms. I can't bear to see you go, just can't let this be the end. No, it won't, no, it won't. Make a mistake standing too proud, even though you wanna bite, I'll help you realize we're closer to home than we know how to be, over the moonlight and the sea. Is there room for you and me? I'll try to find where there's a way to stop the heartache, the decay of time. Closer to home than we know how to be, over the moonlight and the sea. Is there rope for you and me? I'll try to find where there's a way to stop the heartache, the decay of time. But time blows away.
The Alpha Sessions.
The first TikTok I ever made came out last week because I was like, right, I need to get on this. For the last year, people have been telling me to get on this.
Me
and
too.
now I'm doing a single, and it's quite like a poppy modern thing. It could go down really well. So I'm trying to actually plan what will look good in TikTok or sound good in a TikTok. But the first one I did the other day is 8 seconds long or something like that, 12 seconds. It took me 45 minutes. And I don't know if everyone's the same. Some people probably do it very quickly, got talent for it. But people don't realise how long it takes to make content. And when you're working and you're doing music work and all these other things that go on in life, it's just like 45 minutes to make this 8-second video.
Is that because you had to do it like 7 times because you were like, hi, I'm Lucy? No. Well, hello.
Yes.
Was it that?
Well, I also I was nervous. I was weirdly, because it's like, it's
so
unnatural.
Weird.
I sat there and I was like looking at my phone. It was propped up in front of me and I was like, okay, what do I do now? And I clicked the button. I was like, okay, no, let's start that again. And then I actually wrote out a few, not like a script, but I wrote out notes like, what do you call them, like on a script? Notes for myself that I could look at, prompts.
Okay.
I wrote out prompts for myself that would just make me be like, okay, that's the direction I'm going in. This is what I need to say. And then I got myself ready and I thought, just relax and act like you're talking to any one of your band members. And that's when I nailed it a little bit. But then I also had to sync it with the music that isn't out yet. So then I thought, do I put it into an editing software and put the music underneath? Do I just like record the audio over the top? And that's what I did. I just pressed record over the top so it was in the background and leveled it. But after doing that one, I was like, it took me a while to get it right. But the more I do it, the better it's going to get.
It's a learning curve.
Exactly. But that first video, and no followers, but these algorithms, madness.
Yeah,
They're
you got
madness.
800 and something.
But the one I put out yesterday, which was a teaser of the actual song, rather than just me saying, there's a song coming out next week, it's got like 30. So this is what stresses me out, because how can you get a random 800 view first one? I guess because it was my first one, everyone's like, what is this?
I don't
and then
know.
after that you just get 30. It's so up and down. It makes me feel like it's completely transparent. It doesn't mean it. None of these views mean anything. The people that turn up and the people that listen regularly, they matter a lot. But people who are just scrolling through and they're like, oh yeah, and then they keep scrolling, that view doesn't do anything because they're not interested in me. They're just scrolling.
I mean, it's so complicated because obviously it looks good if you have lots of people looking at your stuff.
Yeah.
There's definitely certain things. I am not good at this. Again, I feel like this whole conversation is me saying I'm not very good at that either.
But see, that's what I mean. The stuff that you do, you've got way more content than me. Your content is great.
But it's all
like
old.
rounded.
I feel like it's just me. I do a lot of singing songs. Oh, what?
That's what
singing
I should do.
Songs? Like, who cares about? But you know, there's certain things that people obviously want on TikTok. Like, do you actually use TikTok to? Because I don't use it. I need to start using it, and I feel like ancient. Like, I need to look at other people's things, but all I do is just make stuff that I like.
Yeah.
And there's definitely certain, like your first video is the kind of thing that probably, like you said, it's like, what do you say? It's 8 seconds.
Yeah, it's like
so short,
8,
but that's the kind of thing that does. I mean, we could talk
really
about
well.
this for ages because
Yeah,
it's
I
just,
know,
but
I
it's
know.
important that if anyone, whoever's listening to this, you are listening to this. This is the stuff that we spend so much time trying to figure out how to do, rather than just, you know, spending our time like actually writing songs.
Yeah.
And it's just,
it's draining, isn't it?
it's long and it's confusing.
Yeah.
But I think both of us are in a place where we're kind of finding a little bit of joy in all this other stuff as well. Because otherwise it's just a nightmare if you have to do all this stuff. So it's good to find a way to kind of enjoy it.
And it has got benefits though. Like there's a song that I haven't decided whether this is going to be a secret, but there's a song that I just recorded drums for that is going to be a duet with a good friend of mine. That's coming out probably later in the year. It's going to be like a summer anthem, hopefully. But using TikTok and making videos and thinking about this recent release has made me think, for the first time, I'm thinking ahead. I'm thinking like, what can I do with this next one that looks good on social media, that has good visual content? And so now I've already started planning like an August release, all the content I want to make, and I'm having so many ideas. And it's like, originally I had nothing going on with TikToks, with reels and all this stuff. And even just like album artwork, I was a bit like, need to think about this, but I don't really know. But I feel more self-assured with future releases, and like being prepared is something I'm not very good at in terms of releasing. I always just decide and they go, okay, yeah, let's do it next month. And everyone's like, what? Next month? You haven't got time to do everything. So
you sound like your old you is me.
yeah. I mean, but these are things that definitely evolve with using stuff.
My future.
Like yeah. So yeah, I'm thinking about the future, and TikTok is helping me do that in a way. Like,
That's
there
great.
are positive things about it. It's giving me new ideas.
Well, I think it sounds like you are on a big up, and this 2023 sounds very exciting for Lucy Wroe, and I can't wait to see all the stuff that you put out there and come to your gig. When's your next gig?
So I'm actually performing a couple of acoustic
Today?
ones next week. Yeah, a couple of acoustic ones next week, and then my next proper full band gig is in Germany.
Oh, cool.
It's my first step onto German soil. But my bassist and my drummer are from Germany, and we all have friends over there. They're in different bands, so they've managed to book me on the same night as them, and it's in Essen on the west coast. And I'm just really excited. I'm nervous about it. I'm going to be really nervous because I've never performed in another country ever, and that's something that kind of scares me. So technically, my next proper gig, will be in Germany.
Guys, get yourself to Germany.
Yeah.
If you want to see Lucy
know.
Wroe.
I'm quite scared of that. But then hopefully that'll be another springboard. That'll be another learning curve. I can be like, this was great. I need to do more of this. And start trying to get into different circles. Break Europe.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be a megastar in, I don't know, Switzerland or something. You just never know.
You don't know. And then next London gig is it the...
Next London proper gig is Half Moon
Half Moon.
Putney that's not until the 27th of March. So, but that's really exciting as well because I've never played there. I've never even been there. There's so many people I know who perform there and I've always meant to go, never made it. And now I've managed to book in. So I'm just trying to make my way through all the legendary, the little legendary venues in London. But also trying to do festivals. It's so hard at the moment getting into festivals because everybody's applying all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I'm hoping for summer.
Do you have tactics for that? Tell us.
No, not
Lucy's tips for getting into festivals.
Yeah, I wish. You know what? Another TikTok thing. Well, not TikTok, but visual thing. Videos. Yeah,
we love it.
TikTok is life. Videos in general are something I was so bad at getting. Like just putting my phone on the stage at a gig and getting a full song, just one song, is so valuable. And that's something that I was really bad at because I just lived in the moment. I was like, I'm just going to play my songs. I'm having a great time. But then when it comes to applying, they're like linked to a video of you performing live at least one full song. And you're like, I have like an 8-second snippet from the back of the room and there's people chatting. So now that I've done a few more gigs when I've been thinking ahead and I'm like, I need content so that I can use it to apply. I've applied for so many that I couldn't have applied for before because I just didn't have the stuff they needed. So
you're basically training yourself to be a sort of manager of yourself as well as which is kind of what you have to do. Yeah,
to be honest, I'm enjoying my freedom now, but there are points where I'm like, I really want to work with somebody. I want somebody to advise. It's something you can turn to and just say, what do you think of this? Because it's just in your own head. In your head, you might be like, this is a great idea. And then you start to second guess and you're like, this could be a terrible idea. You need somebody you can like work off. So if there's anybody out there who wants to manage my career, just low key, then please help
anyone
me.
who has some experience though, please, not just,
not just some regular old Joe. But having a team around me is like the next, after this year, hopefully I can work towards having some more people on my side to just boost me a little bit. Yeah, I think that, there's a point where it's just too much for you to do it yourself. Also, then people can tell you what to do. Yeah, that would be so nice, just being told what to do. Yeah, just do this. Yeah, and sometimes with like the music side, I want to be like, that's not what I want to do. But when it's like the visual, there are ideas that I have no way of having. Things just don't spring to mind because I don't think in that way as much. But if somebody said, I can see you doing this, wear this, and do put your hair up, and I'll be like, oh, that looks great. This is it. Up. What? It's life changing. So yeah, little things that I don't even think about that I'd love somebody to spur me on. Well, there you go. That is, I think, is that a pretty good place to finish this? Yeah. The exciting 2023 progression and beyond. 2023 is the year. Hopefully. Everyone says that. Everyone goes like, 2023 is the year of me. New phase, new year, new me. 2023 is, I think, going to be a brilliant year for new music. People, like people I know, you, me, we're all making stuff and putting stuff out there, and I think it's going to be brilliant. So I just want to enjoy it as well. Like, I get too in my head, I get too like, I need to think about success, or like, oh, I'm failing. Doesn't matter. I'm a barista sometimes. I do some voiceover stuff. That's fine. You do this, very good at it. I love this. So if life stayed like this for a while, I'd be okay. I think I need to remind myself that I'd be okay with that. But anyway, I'm riding a high, so what can I say? Next week I might be saying the opposite. After Better has been released, I might be saying like, everything sucks. Well, but I don't think it will. I can't wait to hear it. And I'm sure it'll be played on, I hope so, this station. So but it's out everywhere. It'll be out everywhere. It'll be on Spotify, Apple Music. If people want to find me, I'll be at Lucy Wroe Music, WROE, although you can probably, if you're watching this video, you probably see me in the little caption. But Lucy Wroe Music everywhere. Got a website. All my gigs are on there. I looked at your website. It's very good as well. Oh, thanks. I just redesigned it all yesterday with my new photos. Did you? Yeah, so it looks completely different. I literally just looked at it yesterday. The new phase. Oh, maybe it was, all my gigs are on there. I'm most active on Instagram and now TikTok. Yep, big TikTok star. Find me on TikTok. I'm up and coming. I promise. Amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, thank you to Lucy Wroe. Thanks Alpha Sessions for having me as a guest interviewer. Thanks Radio Brooklyn. Yeah. Okay, wow, I'm professional. And thank you for you're welcome. You did a great job. I love that. Didn't want my whole life changing overnight. Gonna lose this game we're playing to make it right. Something sad about this easy road. I can feel the affliction about to take a hold. You thought I was told to give it up, my heart open, or what am I doing it for? I'm breaking out 'cause I need more. In love with the hope of fixing you up. I've woken up more than ever before. I close that door. I've never been so sure that you'll tell me I should find some peace of mind. I just want it to be out of sight. I'm tired of waiting for you. I fall deeper every time. It can't be right. I just want it to be better. Yeah. I just want it to be better. Spilling over into all I haven't left. Can't see another reason to get out of my bed. Something sad about you trying to keep me close. Got another addiction to being out in the cold. If I told you what I'm thinking of, if I told you I wasn't ready for more, a shadow over what I thought I knew for sure. I'm done with the hope of fixing you up. Feels like there's nowhere to go anymore. I close that door. I've never been so sure that you'll tell me I should find some peace of mind. I just want it to be out of sight, yeah. I'm tired of waiting for you. I fall deeper every time. It can't be right. I just want it to be better, yeah. I just want it to be better. You'll tell me I should find some peace of mind. I just want it to be out of sight. I'm tired of waiting for you. I fall deeper every time. It can't be right. I just want it to be better, yeah. I just want it to be better. I just want it to be